What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We are back in the world of Elder Scrolls Online, and this is early access. We've officially launched. We are ready to rock and roll at this point, and it feels very Skyrimish. Very Skyrimish. There's a lot to it. I mean, the graphics engine looks very Skyrimish. It runs really damn well. You can basically loot everything from anywhere. And I'm kind of intrigued. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. How much fun it's going to be long term, but I'm definitely looking into it. And I'm just gonna kind of give you guys my first impressions and what we're going to basically be doing. I am going to be doing two different Let's Plays, sort of, at the moment. Let me go ahead and show you guys the two different setups that we're going to be doing. Setup one, we're going to have basically the equivalent of Scottish Jesus here. He's going to be a Templar. I may end up changing this guy because he's not... I don't know. You've got to have a Templar. The problem with the Templar is he's not heavy armor. He's light armor, and that kind of doesn't work with Scotty. So we may end up remaking Scottish Jesus as one of the... I forget what they're called. One of the Dragon Knights. Because for this one right here, you can see this guy's heavy armor. You know, he's fucking badass looking. The Templar, though... The Templar's not the light armor. It's the Breton that's the light armor, I think is what it is. He has a light armor specialist. I think that's the problem. If you guys remember when I made my guy on Skyrim, we were a heavy armor specialist with the setup. So the Templar can be heavy armor. I misspoke. Templar can do heavy armor. The Breton, his racial ability is for light armor. So we may either just say fuck the racial ability, or we may go back and redo it. I'm not really sure. So this is basically going to be Scottish Jesus. This one I'm going to play with Riley. She's going to play an archer, and I'm basically going to be her heal bot. Make sure she doesn't die, and do my best to be her knight in shining heavy armor. And this guy right here, this is one we're going to be playing, at least today. This right here is... God, he's ugly as hell. He looks like a cross... You know what he looks like? He looks like Schmeagol had sex with a Ferengi from Star Trek. And then, like, they just, you know what? He's so ugly, we're not going to keep him. So just kind of threw him out and left it at that. So he's hideous, he's ugly, but it is what it is. So with this guy, he is one of the Nightblades. Now, Nightblade coincidentally just happens to be one of the classes that you guys have been asking me to roll forever. Let's talk about the abilities a little bit. So first off, with the class, I'm probably going to be bumping stamina and then bumping health. Oddly enough, a lot of their abilities do use magicka, so I may have to bump magicka a little bit, but stamina and health are going to be, if it's like Skyrim, the key things that I need to do. And the key thing, because stamina is going to allow you to sprint, it's going to allow you to attack, you can be fast, you can be quick, etc., etc. So when you're doing a lot of low-powered attacks, stamina is kind of critical. It may turn out that I can do, like Skyrim, enough damage to where I don't have to do repeated attacks. It just kind of depends. With the abilities, since I am, with this one, a Wood Elf, we'll talk about the racial ability first. Wood Elf skills, they get archery expertise. Now, you guys remember I did have an archer that I played. That's kind of what I'm wanting to bring back. So archery expertise basically just means that you're going to level your bow faster than pretty much all the rest of your stuff. That's going to kick ass. It's going to take names. That's going to be one of the key setups. Vigor just gives you a little bit better stamina recovery. Again, a key thing for any kind of melee or assassin. You get increased poison and disease resistance and even more stamina. And then your last ability, you basically have a little bit better options with stealth, which again, just kind of works. Now, with the weapon abilities, we are going to be focusing probably on bow and dual wield. So with bow, you got a lot of nice abilities here. You've got both actives and passives. We're going to kind of go over those real quick. And again, it's a little different than Skyrim. I mean, you still have a lot of freedom. I don't know. I don't feel quite like I've got the same level of freedom that I had with Skyrim, because I do feel like you're kind of sort of pigeonholed with some certain stuff, but it's not too terribly bad. And you can kind of play around with it and get a little bit of freedom. So with this, Poison Arrow, basically it's just archery with a dot. Volley just allows you to shoot a lot of arrows relatively rapidly, and I believe it's your AoE ability. Scatter shot knocks targets back. It's going to basically give you a little bit of CC, let you kind of continue to do what you were doing. Arrow spray, snares, snipe is just going to be your big heavy hitter, and then you've got all of your different passives here. You know, shooting longer and doing more damage, accuracy increase, a little bit less stamina cost on your archery stuff, damage of your bows, and increases the ability of dodging. So basically, you shoot, and then you roll. So for those of you guys who don't know, you have the ability to roll back and forward, etc., very similar to Guild Wars, if you're familiar with that. So finally, because we are a Nightblade, we have access to the Assassination, Shadow, and Siphoning tree. Now, Assassination tree seems to be the heavy-hitting damage type stuff. So all of your setups have, if you've seen League of Legends, it's very similar to that. You basically have 5 abilities, which is one more than you'd have in LoL, and then you have your ultimate ability. Ultimate ability costs a lot to use, and it's supposed to be your big, bad Mac Daddy skill. So Assassin Blade is pretty fucking ridiculous. It deals 19 magic damage, and low health targets take 300% additional damage. Now, I don't know where the health limit is on low health, whether that's 10%, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever. Either way, this basically gives you the ability to drop some massive deeps on a target that's hurt. For PvE, that's going to be amazing. For PvP, I don't know. For PvP, and I'm not sure I'm going to even bother that much with PvP. It just depends on how it goes. I really hope it plays a lot like Dark Age of Camelot. It looks like it has some potential. I just don't know how well it's going to work. So we'll see. Either way, this ability is going to be pretty disgusting because once they get low, you're going to be able to drop them. Teleport Strike. This is one of the abilities that kind of seems counterintuitive to my Archer class, because basically it allows you to teleport to the target, stun them, and then you kick ass and take names. Well, if you're an Archer, you don't want to be close. Now, that's why we're going to end up swapping over to dual wield at that point in time. All right, so then we have Blur. Blur, enemies have a 15% chance to when attacking you for 20 seconds. So basically, this gives you the ability to dodge and be a little bit less susceptible to attacks, because you are going to be kind of squishy. Mark target. This is another good archery one. Marks a target for death. Players attack ignore 75% of target's armor and spell resistance, and target attacks ignore 75% of players' armor and spell resistance. Killing mark target restores players' health by 37%. So, the nice thing about this is if you're at range and you call target, you are going to rock that dude's world. The problem is it also opens you up to massive counterattacks. So, as an archer, great ability because I'm going to be far away. I'm going to have the ability to do some damage from a distance. And if things get bad, I'm going to be basically screwed. However, if you kill the target, you get a big HP heal. So that's kind of nice. Haste just allows you to run away. And then you've got a bunch of passive abilities. Just basically increases your weapon damage while stealth. Killing an enemy with assassinate ability restores more magicka. Increases critical strike rating by 1% for each assassination ability slotted. And then increase bonus critical strike damage by 5%. So this right here is actually kind of interesting. If I understand this right, and again, I'm still fairly new to the game, at the end of the day, you're going to end up with 50 skill points roughly, and you're going to basically be able to have a lot of this unlocked, a lot of it. However, you can only have 5 skills slotted, so to speak, and 1 ultimate at a time. So, for pressure points, increases your critical strike rating by 1% for each assassination ability slotted. So, if you go hardcore assassination and you had 5 plus your ultimate, I believe that's 6. That's only 6%. Now, granted, that's at rank 1. I believe these will each level up. And as your assassination skill up here levels up, more stuff right here will change. So, that could actually be a 50, 60, 80% crit rate when it's all said and done. I hope so. Because right now, 5%, not really worth it. Now, Shadow line, this is going to be more of the stealth line, where Assassination is more the DPS role and taking some risks for rewards. The Shadow line is going to be a little bit more... Oh, I didn't cover the ulti real quick. Sorry. This one deals 37% or 37 damage while reducing healing received by 50%. Damage increased as player's ultimate charge increases up to 275%. So 275% or extra damage based on your weapon damage, and it reduces healing. So if you need to drop a target, you use this ability, and if they're getting healed, it's not going to do much good. So that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. One of the guys on the stream says we'll end up with 300 skill points if you get everything. So you're basically going to be able to unlock a whole hell of a lot of things then. Okay, so Shadow. Like I said, this is more the stealth. This one gives you the invisibility. I actually have this ability. This allows you to completely hide. I don't know how that's going to work in PvP. It's only 2.5 seconds right now. I'm assuming later on that will go up. This one right here, Veiled Strike, deals 32 magic damage if stealth. Attack sets enemy off balance and stuns them for 4 seconds. So basically you open up with this one, stuns them for 4 seconds, and gives you an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 strikes depending. Pretty cool. Path of Darkness. Enemy targets in front of player take 2 magic damage every second for 10 seconds. Paths may only be seen by player and increase movement speed 50% for duration. So basically you blow this and anything in front of me is going to start taking damage, and I should be able to see their pathing. Seems kind of interesting. I don't know quite how that's going to work, but that one looks like another archery good ability. Induces fear in 2 nearby enemies for 4 seconds. Again, great. Makes monsters run away from you. Awesome for an archer. Summon Shade. Summons a shade to attack target enemy for 17 seconds. Attacked enemies deal 15% less damage for 4 seconds. So basically, this is going to summon a bitch to come help for me. And then anything it hits does less damage for a certain period of time. So that's going to be kind of nice. Basically, if the monster does get to me and I can't get away, I pop this thing and it'll reduce some of the damage I take. And then right here, Refreshing Shadows increases stamina regeneration by 15%. These are all passive, so you don't have to activate them. Increases armor and spell resistance by 51 when coming out of stealth. Excuse me. That is actually huge. So as soon as you become revealed, you're going to take, you're going to have a nice resistance, at least initially. So you get a couple seconds to handle that. Increases max health by 2% for each slotted ability. So right now with 6 abilities, that is 12%. That's actually pretty good. If you have 1,000, that's an extra 120 hit points. It just depends on how much damage is done late game. Dark Veil, while using shadow abilities, increases duration of shadow abilities by 8%. So this one right here is basically going to increase this right here from 2.5 to further duration, which is kind of nice. Finally, you have Siphon. Oh, I didn't cover the ultimate. Consuming Darkness creates an area of darkness for 12 seconds. Enemy in this area are snared 70%, which is fucking ridiculous. Nearby allies take 30% less damage, and caster gains an additional 100% of this value. Grants allies in the area slip away, granting them invisibility. So basically, you blow this. This is your ultimate game over disengage ability. You blow this right here, and any enemy in the area is going to be creeping along like they're walking in knee-deep quicksand, which is awesome. That'll slow them down. Your allies will take 30% less damage, so as you're evacing, they're not going to get hurt as bad. And then you gain an additional 100% of that value. And it's odd that they say it that way as opposed to saying 60%, because to me what that means is the 30% will increase as time goes on, and if that increases, then so will the other one. So either way, that's 60% damage reduction. That's huge. That means anybody hitting you is only going to be doing 40 damage out of every 100 that they hit you with. That's awesome. Finally, grants allies the area slip away, granting them invisibility. So basically that makes everybody invisible, and then they can move out for 12 seconds. So in PvP, that could be huge. That could be absolutely huge because it allows you to just, get away when the shit hits the fan. It just depends on how much ground you can cover in 12 seconds. Finally, the last tree, which I really don't have much interest in at the moment, is the Siphoning tree. And from what I understand, this is basically like a self-healing tree. You do damage, you get healed, etc., etc. So first ability deals 26 damage and heals player for 25% of the damage inflicted every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. So basically, you do 26 damage, 25% of that you get healed for. So that's not too bad. That's 5 ticks. 25% of 26, what is that, like 6 damage? So 6 times 5 is 30 health. That's basically you're going to get healed for the complete amount of damage that it does. Kind of an interesting way to do that math. Agony. This is sick. I actually kind of want this one right here. Stuns enemy for 12 seconds. 12 seconds. That is ridiculous. In PvP, that's insane. Effect is broken by damage from any source. After effect ends, enemy takes 20 damage over 5 seconds. Now, Agony right there, you're thinking, well, doesn't that kind of just seem a little silly? Because, you know, you're stunning the target, but you can't do anything. You can jump by 2 people, bam! You stun that dude for 12 seconds. You snare the other dude, and then you can evac with your ability if you want. Or you just start plinking away at that one guy, drop him, and then by the time his buddy gets out, you've recovered and you're ready to go. As long as you can kill him in 12 seconds. Either way, awesome ability. Cripple. Siphons movement speed from enemy and gives it to player while dealing 35 magical damage over 8 seconds. Again, that's an awesome archery ability. Basically, I slow you down and speed me up. Pretty good idea. Siphoning Strikes. While toggled, basic weapon attacks restore 4% magicka and stamina, but reduce weapon and spell damage by almost 30%. 10% chant on basic weapon attacks to restore 15% magicka and stamina. So basically, you use this when you need to get your mana and your stamina back up, but it's going to lower your damage, which kind of blows. So you're basically going to hit like a little girl for, what? How long does it say? Does it even say? Oh, it's a toggle. Oh, that's not so bad. So you turn it on when you need a little bit of boost, and then you turn it back off. Kind of interesting. Drain Power. Deals 60 magic damage to nearby enemies and increases weapon damage by 6% for each enemy damaged. Oh, that is a nice AoE. Deals 16 magical damage to nearby enemies and increases weapon damage by 6% for each enemy damage for 17 seconds. So if you've got 100 people on the front door, that's 600% weapon damage. Fuck me. That right there is the Zerg killing setup. I got to show that to JJ. That's going to get JJ all warm and fuzzy. Because basically, the more people that are in front of you or in the area or whatever, the more damage you're going to do. That could be absolutely disgusting. Passive abilities, I've got Catalyst. Catalyst increases potion effectiveness by 10%. That seems a little odd. Maybe they're thinking of like poison and poison blades. Magicka Flood increases magicka by 4% while a siphoning ability is slotted, so that's nice. Increases health from siphoning abilities by 8%, and then finally Transfer. While using siphoning abilities, bestows 1 ultimate when dealing damage with a siphoning ability. Wait, bestows 1 ultimate when dealing damage with... That doesn't make sense. Maybe that's an ultimate point? I think it's like an ultimate point. So what it sounds like, and I could be completely wrong, please understand, I'm not playing... I haven't played much with this, so my understanding could be odd, but it sounds like there are ultimate points, and as you do damage or whatever, you accrue these points. So with this, you start off with a certain number of points by default, which is kind of nice. And then finally, Soul Shred. Nearby enemies take 48 magical damage and are stunned for 3 seconds. An ally may activate the Soul Leech synergy, initiating a high damage life-stealing attack. The problem with this one right here is it requires somebody else to back you up. So you're doing something, and then you require somebody else to do something. I never like these abilities unless you're working in a group, because getting the random, douche lords to work with you is always hard. So I think this is going to be a little rough. Now, overall, I really like the ideas of the class abilities that they've got, because you've got all of these options that you can use. And it does kind of give you a little bit of freedom, while at the same time kind of keeping things, I wouldn't say pigeonholed, but you can kind of I can see, at least from a cursory look, there are certain abilities that I would want for an archer, certain abilities that I would want for a melee, etc., and it kind of gives you the idea. So when you're fighting an archer or you're fighting, somebody, you at least kind of know what you're looking for. So either way, we are going to start off with Assassination, Shadow, and Bow. So far, I don't like the way the bow works, but I'm still relatively low level. I mean, if you look, when I draw it, it's real slow. I'm not sure how much we're going to like this ability. I'm not sure how much we're going to like it. It's going to be kind of interesting. So this is going to be our archer character. I am probably going to at least initially start playing it like I would a Let's Play for for the channel, and if you guys like it, we'll keep going. If you guys don't, we'll probably just do tips and tricks and highlights. So it kind of depends on how you guys want to handle it. So let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys are excited about this. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for ESO for a while now. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the tutorial, get to the first area, and then we'll pick up there. So anyways, for those watching on YouTube, hope you guys like this video. If you did, slap that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.